What's up, YouTube? Karat Juice Podcast here for another video. You guys saw that title. You saw that thumbnail. You know exactly why we are here. We are back in the building for another video. I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. Today, first of all, thank you for coming to the channel and watching the content. I really appreciate you. Go ahead and like the video if you haven't done so already. For the YouTube algorithm, it really helps out. I appreciate you taking the time, and subscribe to the channel to get more content like this. Hit that notification bell and select all as well if you enjoy the content. So today we are talking about the lead attorney, a great content creator here on the YouTube space, brother doing big things. And he had a conversation recently about the ex-dating coach, April Mason, who's caused a lot of buzz here on YouTube and online in general because she's decided to stop dealing with women when it comes to dating and matching and all that because their standards are too high. Bruh. So the lead attorney, he had a live stream, I believe it was yesterday, and he talked to April Mason, but he also talked to some brothers about the topic. I might do multiple videos on this, but first, I want to react to this situation. I want to react to the conversation he had with Donovan Sharpe, give my thoughts on this, and hopefully we can come to some level of understanding. So without further ado, let's get right into the content here today.
Speaking of excellent content creators, you know we got the one and the only Donovan Sharpe in the house. How are you doing?
Yes, sir. I'm doing good, man. Hey, man, men of a certain age, they don't remember that people don't dance no more.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, that was the hottest track back in the 90s, man. They don't know nothing about the Goody Mob.
Where are you from, Donovan?
Oh my God.
Don't say New York.
No. And see, this is funny. You remember when people came down from New York, and then like a few years later, all of a sudden you had people who weren't from New York saying they were from New York. Yeah, I'm from New York. No, you from Decatur.
That's exactly right.
You ain't from no New York. Yeah, man. Yeah, just a couple of quick thoughts on this. I don't want to hold you too long.
No problem. And thank you for coming up.
Yeah,
what do you think about this?
This is the thing. I'm seeing people in the chat talking about go in on April Mason. So maybe I'm missing something from what I understand.
Really? I didn't see that. I did not see that.
April Mason. I said, okay, but here's my understanding. April Mason she says that black women don't want to fix somebody a plate, and that they have admitted that they're not going to do any more for their man than their man does for them. I mean,
she went in. All right. I missed that part. Okay.
Right. And I'm glad you said that. Guys, I'm up here, shucking and jiving, dancing for you guys. I really only see kind of the super chat, so I can't get the whole tenor of the whole chat, right? But I understand there might be some confusion because I haven't gotten to the monologue part yet. But let me just show you guys really quick who April Mason
let's see what we're talking about here today. Let's
because
see
there might be some misunderstandings as to what her perspectives are, right?
Yeah,
let me give a big shout out to Zoom to Thailand. Talk about excellent content creators. This brother has the best produced videos, in my opinion, on all of YouTube. The product, now he's got an unfair advantage, right? He's an actor in Hollywood, right? But man, the production values of his videos are off the chain. Says Lead, you are right. So glad that I consulted with you. Zoom over Thailand is growing. Thanks for your advice. Let me know when you're ready to be a guest on Zoom to Thailand with Richie Mack. Yeah, shout out to Richie Mack. And thank you for the consult, guys. I do consults. If you want to learn how to get your YouTube channel off the ground, you can hit the link below if you want to consult with me one-on-one, and we'll just do it over Zoom. But thank you so much, Zoom over Thailand. Really appreciate it. Shout out to Fam Samity Sam. Shout He said, number 6 is dating single mothers with their baby daddy. That was a good one. That was
probably, I don't know,
really
single mom's probably in the top 3.
It was like deadly, right? And then we got JR, both thugs that had tell of JR. There was some real ones out there. Now let's look at April Mason right quick. What did she say?
All right, so let's go into it. Let's see what they're talking about here today.
Before, right?
Yep.
I'm just kind of setting the stage so you guys know who April Mason is. She's like, listen, I have been doing counseling, helping women for 10 years. Now it's time to move on. I've had dozens of success stories from women who are now married, engaged, or dating high caliber men. So guys, she's a dating coach. Over 10 years in the game, selling courses, writing books, helping women with finding eligible men, helping women with femininity. You are absolutely right. What does she say? She says, here we go. However, the majority that come to me, let's be honest, what she's saying is the majority of Black women that come to her have unreal expectations, the selfishness, fake everything. They think they should be chosen because they have a vagina and good looks. The entitlement, right? Just mean. These Black women are mean, not knowing the difference between being a woman and being a wise woman. They'll fight you to be strong, not knowing how to be versus do, thinking being feminine is weak or pick me, whatever the fuck that is. That's what she said right here, right? Placing, and this is what Kevin Samuels talks about all the time, placing the blame and not taking responsibility or accountability for the choices that they've made in men, right? So I'm so glad that Donovan came up. It's like, hey, people are saying go in on April. No. April is with us. April is like spearheading the thing. Yeah, man. Black women came for April, right? Black women came for April. That's the issue here. Let me show you kind of what started it off. Give me 1 second here. Yeah. And April, it's Thanksgiving time, right?
Yes, sir.
So April made a post about Thanksgiving and about fixing your man a plate. Now, in the Black community, that's what it's called, right? We don't really say like serving your man or anything like that.
Yeah, fix him a plate. You use that word aluminum foil on the plate.
That's exactly right.
Here we go. We're going to get into the most recent
post. She made a post about, hey, it's Thanksgiving, guys. Women, you can fix your man a plate. She got some backlash. What did the women say? If you can imagine, right? If you can imagine. So this is April Mason when she said, hey, ladies, you can fix your man a plate. She says, listen, this is crazy. Although many of you understood, the majority made some type of opposition out of a kind gesture, the gesture of fixing your man a plate, right? She says, the fact that women can't just make this post about a man in this moment is mind-blowing. All right, you have Thanksgiving,
right?
Fix your man a plate, but you can't make this moment about your man, the man that you picked to be in a relationship with. April says that these women have inserted themselves to make sure they aren't missing out, looked over, the women are keeping score, making sure that their man is doing more for them than he is doing for them, for the women. She says it's a subconscious behavior at this point. April says this post isn't about you and what you get, right? Or even to explain what or why your man makes your plate. This is not your moment. The selfishness. This is what she's saying right here, right? With the sometimes he makes my plate. Why can't we do for each other? I'll make it, but oh my God. She said some women were saying, oh yeah, I'll make his plate, but I'm making my plate first.
Oh my God.
What? Damn. Arguing about paper plates, all caps, paper plates, y'all. She says, this speaks volumes, right? And she says, y'all wonder why I retired from doing the dating coaching, because the women's expectations, again, totally unrealistic, totally beyond the pale, expecting way more than they actually qualified for. She says, behavior and mindsets like this are the majority. And what she's really saying is the majority of Black women, because these are her clients. I've dealt with it for over 10 years. Thank God for the grace to do it that long. Happy Thanksgiving, guys, and enjoy your loved ones today. So what do you think about this, Donovan? It's like she's saying now, and this woman knows women more than almost anyone because she's been feeding her family, putting bread and food on her table by helping women, thousands and thousands of women, helping them in their relationships. So she has a firm handle on who women are at this point. She's been doing it for over 10 years. And this is kind of what she sees. Kind of what's your take on this?
This is why 3 out of every 4 sisters are unmarried and will never be married. It's the simple things. Now, let me go back to the comment that April made. I guess someone had said something to the effect of, well, I'll make him a plate, but he's got to make me a plate first. Or why can't we do for each other?
Yeah.
If you take that micro nuance and make that macro, when a woman and a man are talking, courting, whatever, in a woman's mind, she thinks, okay, it's his job to qualify to me. Wrong answer. Here's the thing, TLA, and this is going to piss a lot of women off, but this is the absolute truth. And this actually transcends all races. The reason why when I meet a woman or a woman, I'm in a long-term cohabitating relationship now, but the reason why we as men, high value men, have the leverage is because there are many beautiful women all over the world, but there are a lot more beautiful women than there are high value men. Okay. So why shouldn't you have to qualify to me, Donovan? Because there are more of you than there are of me. And that's the bottom line. What that gives me is that gives me leverage. Now let's take it to the other side. Let's just say that the world
dropping facts on this.
With
Pay attention, guys. 21-year-old
virginal women who still lived at home with their parents until they got married, no tattoos, no piercings, no drinking, no smoking. If they were all over the world, well, guess what? Then those 21-year-old virginal girls who still live at home with their parents, now we have to qualify to them because there are more of them than there are more of us than there are of them. This lead is the simple concept of supply and demand. Yes. The more of something is available, the less value it becomes. There are beautiful women who sleep around all the time. This is why high value men don't pay anything for beautiful women other than, I don't know, maybe take her out for a coffee or a drink, whatever the case may be. There are not that many high value men. And I'll tell you something else. I think I may have mentioned this back when I was on with Jen. What men have to understand, and I don't think women understand this about themselves. Most men are sexually invisible to most women. That's the bottom line. The bottom 90% of men are invisible to the bottom 90% of men. And the reason for that is because all women, 100% of the women are going for the top 10, 15, 20% of guys. So in their minds, the only men that really exist are the top guys. So when you ask a woman, well, who cheats more, men or women? Well, of course, men cheat more. Well, yes, the top 10 to 15% cheat more, but the bottom 85% are not even getting any, right? That's why most people in this part of the world, most virgins in this part of the world are men. But here is the bottom line. Today's woman, especially sisters, they want traditionally masculine men without having to be traditionally feminine. They want the man to be able to take care of her and pay the bills and all that stuff, and that's fine. But you have to be traditionally feminine as well, which means food, fuck, and shut the fuck up. Now, of course, I say that in jest, but men want peace. And listen, man, we as men, we're not complicated. We're very, very simple creatures. It doesn't take much to keep us around. Don't lie to us. Don't cheat on us. Give us some sex every now and again. Leave us alone to let us recharge our batteries and make us something to eat every once in a while. But for whatever reason, women in this part of the world
the leave alone part is
as
big
a weakness
for me.
It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, let me ask you about this. And, it's not a full comment, right? So I don't want to take it too much out of context. Sure. But Chanel says, don't give a man wifey benefits in just a relationship. Why buy the cow if you can get the milk for free? So when she says wifey benefits, maybe she's referring to what we're talking about today in terms of serving a man, making a man a plate, right? But, how it's like, goddamn, how far have we fallen if...
Before he gives his thoughts on that, I'm going to give my thoughts on this right here. And I might have to do multiple parts on this. Just to respond to that question that she just had right there. Why give a man wifey benefits when you can get the milk for free or what have you? So what my response to that would be, if you don't display that you can fit the job description of being a wife, you will never get the benefit of being a wife. So it's not giving somebody wifey benefits. You have to show, if you want a man of value, you have to show that you are a wife. And the only way he can see that is if you are behaving and fulfilling wifey duties. And making your man a plate is something that would definitely show that you're adding value to him. You're putting him as a priority. And traditionally, in a high value man is going to be paying for your lifestyle, is going to be funding things, is going to be supporting you. So it's not like you're less than just because you are serving your man in that way. I think that's where it gets misconstrued. Okay, if a man is on his purpose, doing the things that he needs to do, taking care of you and all that, you should want naturally to feed him first, because that shows that you want to keep him healthy. You want to keep him strong so he can go out and conquer the world, bring it back to the home. That's how, like, traditionally how our biology was set up. The men, hunter gatherers, go slay the dragon, go hunt, bring back the food, while the woman nurtures, protects the children, nurtures them and feeds them and makes sure that the home, the nest, is safe. It's like biologically ingrained in us to have those roles like that. And it's only in modern day times where this has all kind of gotten misconstrued and people aren't really sure. People aren't sticking to those roles because, I'm gonna be honest, there's a lot of men who are falling short and who are not fulfilling their end of the bargain as well when it comes to being providers, having leadership characteristics, being able to respectfully check the partner that they have respectfully and be like, no, that's not right. I won't tolerate disrespect. This is not how it's going to go. It's a way that you could check someone and say, hey, I don't appreciate that. This is not how it's going to go. And if you're not going to have respect for me in any way, this can't go forward. A lot of men stay in relationships where there's no respect. Okay. And that can't live. You can't be with somebody that doesn't respect you. I say that all the time. But moving on, I'm going to continue with this conversation. This is going to be a longer video, but I think this conversation is important. Let's continue on.
Wifey benefits are serving a man a plate, right? You can't do that in a relationship. 6 months into a relationship, 8 months into a relationship.
If you don't do that, you won't be a wife.
You can't give your man a plate after 8 months in a relationship. What the hell are you giving him? Right? What do you think about this?
Exactly.
Here's how this works. On Broadway, they don't just give you the part without the audition, right? You can't go and listen, I want to play Simba as the Lion King. Okay, great. You got the part. No, you have to audition. And if you show the wherewithal to act and be and play the role, then you get the position. Women want the position without having to play the role. What they're doing is it's almost like they want coochie credit. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you wifey benefits, but you got to put a ring on it first. Now, if we're in the mythical land of 21-year-old virgins and there are a lot more of us than, hey, absolutely, I'll put the ring on it before I get the wifey benefits. But there are so much less of us than there are of them. We don't have to put a ring on it to get the wifey benefits because there are 12, 13 other women who are more than willing to give us the wifey benefits without the wifey title. Again, women want the title without having to audition. How does a man know that you are a wife if you cannot act like one in a relationship? But then a lot of women say, well, what about the other side? What about the man? Blah, 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 blah. If he weren't worthy of being a husband in the first place, you wouldn't be interested in him anyway. You see, a man doesn't have to qualify to a woman because women have razor sharp instincts. Women are acutely aware of which men are worth committing to and which men are not. And so what today's sisters like to do, they like to put parameters in place. Conditional femininity. Well, if he's masculine enough, then I'll give him femininity. No, if you're fucking with this nigga, then clearly he has already met the qualifications. qualifications. You can't tell a man that he qualifies by showing interest in him and then reneging on the deal, talking about, well, you only get wifey treatment unless I get the ring. Okay, listen, I'm not tripping. I got 20 other women in my phone who don't need the ring to give me the wifey benefits. So again, it's leverage, supply and demand.
Right. And Mike Dwayne, thank you so much, Mike Dwayne, for this. Really appreciate it.
Wow, appreciate it.
Says, if I can't get a plate, then where will I get the energy to listen to her venting all day and night? Oh boy, this is hungry work, LOL. Also, I recently found your channel very educational as well. Thank you and bless you. Thank you so much, Mike Dwayne. And
he said, I want my dress.
Listen, if I'm going to combine what he's saying to what Chanel was saying, Chanel is saying, listen, you don't get wifey benefits, you don't get a plate until we're married, right? Well, what if a man tried that? What if a man says, okay, well, you don't get husband benefits, you don't get me listening my hair looking to busted right day now. And night, all of your venting, all of your crying, all of this and that, you don't get that until we're married. So where are we at, right?
We're there.
Yeah,
listen,
it's like
we're there. We're there. High value men are letting women know that, listen, check this out. You don't get husbandly or masculine benefits until I see you can play the role first. And again, I keep going back to this. The reason why the playing field is not equal is because there are a lot more women looking for a lot less men. There are so many more women who want relationships with a small number of men. High value, dude, even average men are spoiled for choice. So if one woman isn't going to do it, he's not tripping. He knows 20 other women that will. So women who have this attitude, well, listen, I'll be traditionally feminine if he's traditionally masculine. It doesn't work that way. If the roles were reversed and there were more men than women available, then yeah, we would have to qualify to you first. But because most women get ran through, there are a lot more of them that are single than a lot more men who are actually looking for, I guess, wives or girlfriends. And this is going to be like this forever, as long as there are more women looking for less men, men are always going to be in the power position. Now, a lot of people would ask, well,
let me just jump in for a second. Let me kind of play the devil's advocate a little bit, because what you were talking about when a man says, okay, well, there's more of you than me, right? And, I kind of see how it is. And if you won't give it to me, fine, someone else will. I think there are men who think like that. And usually we would probably say the men that think like that are kind of have more of a red pill mindset. But if we can be honest, there are probably more men with a blue pill mindset than a red pill mindset. So a woman can absolutely say, hey, I'll just get with the majority of men who are blue pill and who will allow me to do this,
Good point, Lee.
And then so I'll just be saving mine until we get married. Or kind of how do you feel about that? Being that it seems like the majority.
But this is what I would say to that. I'm going to interject right here. What I would say to that is a man who is more so on the blue pill side, and blue pill basically is going to be more your person that doesn't really understand female nature, kind of weak, pandering. You talk about the simp culture nowadays, how there's a lot of simps out here. That's what's going to be more your blue pill type of guy, who is going to be your yes man, who's going to agree with everything that you got going on, right? And what I would say to that is the majority of women, not all, some, but the majority of women, from what I've seen in my experience in my life, long term, they're not gonna respect that guy. They're not going to stay with him long term, because at the end of the day, most women want to be with a guy who is taller than them, stronger than them. They would prefer a guy that makes more money than them, a guy that's ambitious, a guy who's a leader. All of those are characteristics in men who are not gonna just let somebody push them over. That's not gonna just say yes to everything that you want to do. At the end of the day, a woman is not gonna be attracted to that long term, from what I've seen and from my experience. You can let me know if I'm wrong. You can talk to me in the comments about it. But from what I've seen, the majority of the women who want to get a more of a beta type guy, a guy that's just gonna be a nice guy and agree with such a good guy, nice guy, and agree with everything that you say that you want that on paper, but you're not going to be attracted to that guy long term, and you're eventually going to leave him because your attraction is going to wane. You want to be with a guy that challenges you. You want to be with a guy who respects you and will take the input that you give. Just because a guy is an A-type personality and a leader does not mean he's not going to take your input. A guy that's going to respect you, a guy that's going to go out and be ambitious and lead and slay the dragon and bring it back to you, and it's going to allow you to be in your natural state as a woman. I think that's what the majority of women want. But to be with that type of guy, it's going to be challenging because he's going to challenge you to be better. He's going to challenge. He's not going to tolerate any disrespect. He's not going to allow you to just run all over him. And at the end of the day, most women are attracted to those type of guys. It's just difficult to get them because they're few and far between. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. Let's continue with this. Pretty good conversation thus far.
Majority of men are kind of blue pillish.
Yeah, listen, they say this, but men who don't have the red mindset are not attractive to those kinds of women in the first place. Listen, they might meet all of the physical metrics, but a man who does not check a woman, a man who does not put boundaries in place, a man who does not coach his woman to be the best woman she can be for him, a man who lets a woman get away with certain things, a man who allows a woman not to treat him the way he deserves to be treated, eventually the attraction is going to wear off. All right, so he's a 6'4" alpha looking nigga with a six-pack. Yeah, but he kind of lets her get away with whatever she wants, right? She can talk down to him. She can, hey, babe, will you, grab me a beer while you're up? You can get it yourself. And if he doesn't check her, at some point that's going to become unattractive to her. So yeah, you're right. Sisters can say, all right, well, listen, I don't have to get with these red mindset guys. I'll just stick with the blue pill guys. They're never happy with those guys. How do we know? Because they're divorcing these men 80% of the time. That's why most men are blue pill and most black women are marrying blue pill black men. But then again, the divorce rate in the black community it's sky high. That's the reason. Some women have figured this out. They're like, you know what? I can't get with a guy who lets me get away with everything, so I'm going to go after one of those guys. There's just one problem. There's a line out the door and around the block for such a guy. Then they have to compete, and women don't like to compete for something that they've already been getting for free, and that's the crux of the situation.
Absolutely. Let me give a big shout out to the Andre C. Hatchett, also another strong brother. This brother's so strong down here in Atlanta with the rest of us. There's so many brothers down here in Atlanta, so many YouTubers. Shout out to Andre. If one of the moderators could please drop his link. And Daddy Dame again. Thank you, Daddy Dame. Says the boy installs internet, went to Spanish fam house. Their daughter offered him dinner, fruit, drinks, obviously showing him signs of interest. He goes home and his wife, who is a sister, tells him, I ain't cooking nothing. Yeah, that's right. It's true, right?
Yeah. This is just how it is, man. And I don't know, it's got to be some sort of mental block. Again, women want men without having to be women. That's all there is to it. And again, a lot of women say, well, this isn't fair.
Not gonna say all.
He should have to prove himself to me before I prove myself to him. You might think that's unfair, but that's how it is. Is it fair that hot girls get to get into the club and the fat girls have to wait and probably not get into the club? No, that's not fair. But life ain't fair. But that's how it is. Is it fair that some people are born, to be 6'5" and super smart and this and that and the other, and some people are born dumb and short? No, that's not fair, but that's how it is.
I benefit from that. I'm 6'5".
All's fair in love and war. So. The sexual marketplace doesn't give a fuck about fairness, Lee. It doesn't give a fuck about what's morally right and what's morally wrong.
Life ain't fair, y'all. The
sexual marketplace is. And a bitch can talk about how she's a catch and this and that and a third, but if you were really a catch, you'd be caught instead of having to tell people that you're a catch. It's really
Let me give a big shout out to the Jonathan Barronville. Strong brother. Says, black men, stop letting these sisters treat you like this. The way we are way too loyal to black women. Go where you are appreciated. I had Latinas gladly fixing my plate yesterday, and I didn't even have to ask for a damn thing. Y'all deserve better, brothers. Absolutely. And what do you think? And I totally agree.
The Latinas are taking over.
Jonathan is saying about men need to raise their standards.
They're taking over,
right? Yeah. Why do you think it is that so many men allow themselves just to be these doormats, right? You know, Jonathan ain't playing with that, but why do you think I will absolutely say Jonathan is in the minority. 27-year-old brother down here in Atlanta. He's absolutely killing the game.
I will respond to that. Why? The question is, why are black men allowing themselves to be trampled over, not respected, and what have you? I think a lot of it comes from a lot of black men through broken homes, not having a stable household, not having male leadership. A lot of them being raised by just single moms, not getting that male example, role model growing up because of so many of the divorces and single parent homes, that we kind of are wavering through life, and then we don't really find ourselves until later, if at all. So a lot of black men growing up were raised by single moms. And when you're raised by the single mom, a mom can't teach us a man how to be a man. So that's how you kind of get this beta mindset. You kind of get this, you put women on a pedestal and say, do this, bring them flowers. They can do no wrong. Just be the nice guy. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. Just be the nice guy. Be a good man. And we all know that nice guys finish last. You ain't got to be a jerk. You ain't got to be an a-hole. But we all know that being a nice guy does not work. And that's what a lot of us were taught. And we don't figure out until you're like late 20s, 30s. At least that's for me. That stuff doesn't work. Okay? Forgive me, for I have simped. Forgive me, for I have been a beta. Forgive me, for I have been,
You stupid.
Stupid at times, because I didn't know these things. And as you grow as a man and you learn, you eventually take off the blinders and realize that women aren't bad, but you understand women's nature inherently. You understand that for the most part, women aren't going to respect you if you just blindly do anything they tell you to do. If you don't have a purpose, you don't have anything going on, you don't have your own goals and motives and ambitions, if your life is completely just revolving around what they have going on, they are not going to respect you. You kind of inherently learn these things over time, and a lot of men are doing it through trial and error, and they never really figure it out. Whereas if you did have a stable home, if you had a father and a mother and in a married household, or at least your father and mother was in the same household, you had that male role model at least, and those guys usually do well, do better. So I think that's part of the issue. This is a lot of nuance, a lot of context to it. But I will say this, black men have fallen short a lot of the times and gotten into bad situations where people don't respect them because they didn't have that black role model. Okay. Or just that male role model for the most part. So yeah, that's kind of like the reason behind why I think a lot of black men get taken advantage of in situations, because a lot of them were just raised by their single mom and they didn't have that male figure to really show them true masculinity and what it means to be a man, and they don't figure it out until later on. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. keep going with this and we'll wrap it up.
Absolutely killing the game. Why do you think that most men allow themselves to kind of be doormats and these mule workers, right? Like,
yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Because we're not taught otherwise, right? I mean, the world, society. I mean, we've all been neutered. I mean, you and I don't know how old you are. I'm 44. I just turned 44.
I'm 44 as well.
Oh, okay. So we're the same age. Wow. So that's 1977.
Yes.
But you and I were born. When we were children, we were right on the tail end of when masculinity was actually allowed.
32, 88.
I watched programs like the A-Team, Mr. T, B.A. Baracus, Knight Rider, G.I. Joe. The men were strong and the women were feminine. That all went away with the 90s and, of course, the 2000s. And now we're here in the 2020s and things are ass backwards. So you and I can remember a time when conventional masculinity was actually championed. But now you talk about guys that are as low as 5 years younger than us and even younger than that. They're just not being taught that, hey, you don't have to accept this behavior. Number one. Number two, they're taught that this is the way women should be. And the reason why men are miserable is because something is telling them that something's not quite right. Their Y chromosome is like, something's not right. And then when they find content like ours, they usually make one of two choices. They either say, oh my God, I've been waiting on this all my life, or they push back because now their ego invested. Wait a minute. I've been living this life for 28 years. I was told one thing. Now all of a sudden you guys are telling me it's another. And that's the reason a lot of guys push back. But to go back to your question, the reason why men let women walk all over them is because they're taught that that's not how it should be. And our culture, I mean, it literally glorifies, yes, you be vulnerable to your woman and do this and that. No, men and women are not equal, but one is not more superior than the other. Men, we bring things to the table that women cannot, and women vice versa. Men and women are better together, man. Kevin Samuel says this all the time. And so when there's this, I guess, battle of the sexes, that's why both men and women are miserable right now. And it's sad to see. It really is.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you see a solution? Because it seems to get worse and worse and worse. This whole fixing a plate thing, it seems so minimal, right? But so many women are attacking.
Yeah, let's hear the solution and then
so many women say, "Oh, well, I'll fix him a plate, but I'm fixing mine first." Or I'll fix him a plate, but he better be fixing me a plate too. Is there a solution to this, or do you kind of see when things are going to kind of swing back, when the pendulum's going to swing back?
Wow. I could be wrong, but I don't think the pendulum is going to swing back in my lifetime. Like most things, it's going to have to get worse before it gets better. Now, fortunately, we live in a time where information is now shared rapidly. I mean, there's free information all over the internet all the time, and every day more and more men are waking up. But I'll tell you this, Lead, the United States, or the Western Hemisphere, our economy relies on the beta male. It relies on the blue pill. Our economy is literally built on male thirst. All of your, think about this, all of your high ticket, high margin items are in some way either directly or indirectly related to getting a woman attracted to you, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with dressing in such a way that will make you more sexually attractive to women. There's nothing wrong with that. Our biology dictates that. But let's just say that 5% of every man in the age of majority over the 18 were red pill aware and actually acted as such. The economy would fall. The economy would fall because men like us, we're minimalists, right? By nature, number one. Number two, we're not out here buying, like, dude, I tell this all the time to my girl. Listen, man, Devin, dude, she's got 3 Coach bags, she's got heels and all this other kind of stuff, but she earned everything that I have ever done for my woman. She has earned. I never sent her flowers to her job when she was working just because it's Wednesday. Oh, no. I would say, you know what? You've been ride or die these last couple weeks. Work has been kind of crazy for me. You did your thing. Here, we're gonna go into the Coach store, pick out any bag you want. That's how that works. Yeah. I don't just go out and buy my bitch things just because. No. She has to earn that. And this is part of not letting women walk all over you. If you give your woman commitment without her having to earn it, she won't respect that commitment. Nor should she. Women only value what they are required to work for, and they appreciate it more. Women want to know your commitment women want to work for your commitment because they want to know it's worth something. And if you show her that you don't even find your commitment worth working for, then what makes you think she is?
Wow,
that's why women are so
that's
quick
a
to pull
good
the
point.
ripcord on relationships, because hell, all I did was give him some ass, which I've done 358 other guys. It's nothing for me to just get up and walk away. You have to make sure your woman is invested emotionally, financially, sometimes even spiritually. That makes it far less likely for her to just pull the ripcord and walk away. If she has skin in the game, okay, Donovan said or did XYZ to piss me off. Let's work through this.
Yes. Let me give a big shout out to the Thane, Mr. Thane. Thank you.
And we will kind of conclude with this part of the reaction. And this has been some good content. That was a very poignant point by Mr. Sharpe right there. And what that encapsulates, in my opinion, is, let me just tell you something. Let me tell you just like a quick story. Have you ever, just growing up, wanted something really bad? You thought about it. For instance, maybe it was like a new, just for the purpose of this, let's say it's like a new phone or whatever. Like when the first iPhone came out, or like when a like Android phone that you really liked really first came out, like, or even throw way back, like one of the Nextels. Y'all remember the chirps back in the day? The Nextel. What was it? I can't even remember some of them. The 800 or whatever. All right, the Nextels that were really cool that had the front-facing screen, whatever those were called. So you kind of research about it and you try to figure out how much it costs. You try to see if anybody could sell you one or whatever. Okay, all that whoop, whoop, whoop happens. Eventually you get it planned. You figure out how much you got to pay. You save up for it. You're excited. You really want to get this phone. You eventually get the phone. You land it. You have it in your possession. And you're excited. You're like playing with the phone and you're like, man, look, it could do this. It could do that. It could still take some shitty ass pictures, but you got the phone, right? And you're so excited for that first couple of weeks. And then after, a couple of weeks, you're just like, it's just a phone. It just goes to serving the purpose of a phone. And at the end of the day, it's still, it's kind of slow and a little buggy, and it really never led up to it never really became what you thought it was going to be. Okay. The anticipation was better than the actual product that you got. In that same token, when it comes to a relationship, when it comes to the push and pull of the dynamics between a man and a woman, if somebody can just get something without putting any work into it, that's just not how we are wired as people to appreciate things. You are going to value something a little bit more. You're going to value it a lot more, actually, if you had to work to obtain that thing. So what Donovan was talking about there, how he'll get nice stuff for his girl, but he's not going to just get it for her because she is his girl. He's going to give it to her when she's been demonstrating value, when she's been helping him out, when she's been supporting him, when she's really been on her stuff. He'll reward her with a bag or a nice dinner or something, because she's going to respect it more. She's going to appreciate it more because she earned that thing. And if she doesn't know it or not, it is actually having her have more attraction towards him, because he's not just giving away things to her just because. He's actually making her earn it, and in turn it all revolves around and the human experience. A person is going to just appreciate something more that they work for, that they earn, rather than just being given something. Like, for instance, if somebody just gave me that phone, I'm not going to really appreciate it as much as if I had to work for it. I had to research, I had to save up money. I liked the phone for a while, it was fine, but long story short, human beings, we appreciate things more that we work for when it comes to items, and even when it comes to relationships. And I think that gets lost, and it's gotten lost a lot with the the dream that a lot of people have been sold through romantic comedies, through Disney fairy tales, through what you have been shown through the media, that your relationship should be flowers and it should be the guy should be your soulmate or whatever and do everything that you say and you never have an argument. That's not realistic, and that's not what you're actually attracted to inherently. You're actually attracted to the person that challenges you. You're actually attracted to the person that just doesn't give you validation and attention just because of who you are, but they make sure that you demonstrate value, that you earn that validation and that attention. And that's what's going to be something that helps you to have a long-lasting relationship in the future, because you're constantly having to prove, you're constantly having to earn what that person is putting down for you. So that's been another video here on the Karat Juice Podcast channel. I hope you guys are enjoying the content. Go ahead and like the video. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel so you can get more content like this, and hit the notification bell so you get notified anytime I drop some content. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care of yourselves. Peace.